Shillong Technology Park located at Umsawli was today inaugurated by the Meghalaya Chief Minister, Shri Conrad Sangma in the presence of IT Minister Hamlet Dohling, PHE Minister Renikton Tongkhar, Meghalaya Chief Secretary Rebecca V Suchiang and other government officials.
This is iconic, and I should say, if I may not be using very strong words, but a very important phase in the IT sector when it comes to our state of Meghalaya. And the reason I say this is because this is something that I personally have been looking forward to and thinking about for the past 12 years, 13 years now. And this is something that people have been talking about for the past 20 years. And every time you read a proposal or a report from NASSCOM, they will always say and talk about the human resource that the Northeast has and the potential that the Northeast has in terms of the ITES sector. And so to be very, very frank and blunt with you, we are actually 20 years behind. This should have happened 20 years back. And we would have been able to take a huge advantage of it. But nonetheless, it's never too late. We realize that in the IT sector, the fact that the human resource is a very, very obviously critical part. All companies would like to ensure that they are able to connect and get the manpower at a much more larger scale and at a reasonable cost. And that is where this IT park plays an important role. So we have all our individuals, our youth going to Bangalore, to Bombay, and to other large metros where the cost of living is much higher, where the real estate cost is much higher, and obviously it leads to the employment aspect also creating and becoming higher. So therefore, this coming into the picture is going to help most of the companies cut their cost by a huge amount. So that's the number one factor that we have to remember. The second factor why this is important is because this location here will allow the companies to have a plug-and-play model. Now we have to realize that companies don't have time to spend a year or 2 years to build up their building and create the infrastructure and then start the project. They need ready-made infrastructure. They need to be able to start tomorrow because they get their contract for 6 months, for 1 year, and therefore a place where they can come in and plug and play is ideal for them. And therefore this setup and the infrastructure here is ideal for companies who desire to have a plug and play model because they can come and set up their shop tomorrow and they can finish a contract for 2 months and they just plug out and they can leave. And this is the kind of model that's developing throughout the world today, simply because there are contracts that are there that last for a few months or years, and the IT companies don't have the time or the resources to invest. So that's the second point which is very, very important out here. Third is that the weather conditions are very, very suitable for IT in terms of the servers that we have. We know that they heat up a lot. So we have weather conditions that are favorable for us. Another very important aspect is that we have started the Shillong airport. And the Shillong airport is another aspect because connectivity is an important issue when it comes to IT companies. No CEO of big company would want to travel for 2 hours, 3 hours by road. You know, they want direct connectivity to the location. And therefore the airport is very close from here. And once we have the roads which are under construction, we will actually be able to bypass the entire Shillong city traffic and reach the airport from here in a matter of just minutes. And the fourth aspect which we have is we also are going to have the helipad out here. So the heliport is going to be in this land itself, and we are giving about 5 to 10 acres to transport department to put up a heliport or helipad out here. So obviously that again is another area because we really need to think 20 years down the line. We need the kind of infrastructure that will allow easy access to this location will be an incentive for people to come and invest and start their projects out here. And the last and the most important aspect for the ecosystem for the BPO industry to grow is accommodation. And as was being mentioned by the Honorable Minister, that there are big projects like the Crowborough project, which has been not completed for 3 decades. I'm happy to tell you that we will be completing it this year. So we are actually in the process. Taj Group has taken over that project, and we expect that by April to May, we are expecting it to be functional or at least completed. We are also expecting the Marriott Hotel to be completed. So once we have these 5-star units out here and hotels and accommodation, this is another area which is important for the BPO sector to flourish. So it's not just having an IT park, it's having the connectivity to it, it's having the manpower out here, it's having the airport connectivity, it's having the 5-star accommodations. All these aspects are very, very critical to make sure that the ecosystem for the IT sector and the BPO sector is there.
Tech Park has been completed in an expeditious manner, despite the challenges owing to the pandemic in the last 2 years. The need for a plug-and-play facilities is felt more now, as government offices will be shifting to the new township. This will drive up the demand for built-up spaces in the next few years. The socio-economic benefits of this tech park will reach both skilled and unskilled workers. It is